In Fox 17 News Investigates, a Nashville man wants answers tonight after it took 23 days to bury his veteran brother. He says it's all because the government couldn't seem to find a key piece of paper for more than 3 weeks. Tonight, I'm searching for solutions and answers for this veteran's family who proudly served our country. Veteran Gary Williams of Nashville died suddenly, June 17th, of heart problems at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, but wasn't buried until July 9th.
Nobody's body should be left out 20 days.
Williams' brother, Ray Collier, also a veteran, calls it unconscionable.
That is the height, in my opinion, of not caring and apathy.
Collier, who's 77, says he never expected to bury his younger brother or the paperwork nightmare that came with it.
It's absolutely uncalled for.
All because the VA couldn't find a single piece of paper, this DD-214, or discharge form.
He was never embalmed, with him not being prepared. The human body after 20 days is not going to be a pretty sight.
That's why Collier says he had no choice but to have a closed casket funeral for his brother Gary.
I refuse to look at it. I've been in the medical field and I've seen too many bodies already.
Collier says he made phone calls, sent emails, waited patiently for the VA to find his brother's DD-214 form because that's what the VA needed to give Mr. Williams a plot here at this state veteran cemetery in Bellevue.
How can a piece of paper become so important and be lost?
But after every phone call and email, he'd get the same kind of response. There's nothing we can do until the National Cemetery Schedule Office returns the official military personnel file.
He had in his possession 2 forms of ID with his picture showing that he was a patient at VA hospital.
Collier says that should have been enough to track down the important DD-214 form. I called the VA media spokesperson to ask about Mr. Collier's experience.
If you could send me an email, that would be very helpful.
So I sent Public Affairs spokesperson Anderson a detailed email asking if there are faster ways to get a DD-214 form when a family is waiting to bury their loved one. And I followed up with 2 more emails. I'm still awaiting a response. Amy Bushatz with Military.com says it's one reason for a recent rule change that now lets veterans plan their funerals before they pass away.
Why can't the government handle cutting the red tape with technology? I mean, I think we would make a lot of money if we could answer that question succinctly, but they can't. So you have to go through a process. You can mail in a request, you can call, you can literally fax it in, or you can go in person. But it is it is a multi-day program, and it is extremely frustrating and stressful for families.
Collier says he finally made enough calls to cut through the red tape himself. You found the piece of paper.
I found someone who found it. I made a phone call. According to this lady, I don't know this. You can't get into those records. She was able to get in and say no one had requested it.
Well, I will have a link for you with this report under the Fox 17 News Investigates tab at fox17.com, explaining how veterans can pre-arrange their burials well in advance to avoid the government red tape that Mr. Collier experienced.